You click this video because you want to know which finance books you gotta read to make big bucks so you can buy a Bugatti and sip Mai Tais on the beach with a harem of hot supermodels while servants fan you with large palm leaves. Or maybe you just want to know how to step up your investing game so that you can retire early with a sizable nest egg. If that's you, I'm going to go over 6 personal finance books that helped me achieve a multiple 6-figure net worth in my 20s. Without further ado, let's get right into it. I've arranged these books in the order that I would recommend them to be read for a beginner so that you can build up a solid financial foundation as you go. Our first book is The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason, right here. So The Richest Man in Babylon is a timeless classic that delivers financial wisdom through a series of parables set in ancient Babylon. I first read this book when I was 19, and what makes it so great is that its teachings are as relevant today as they were in the 1920s when it was first published. And no doubt in 100 years, this is still going to be relevant as well. It's a short, easy read, very simple, and will help drive home some of the basic concepts of personal finance, like paying yourself first, which this book recommends 10% savings rate of your income minimum. I would recommend higher than that if you can make it happen. The book also recommends controlling your expenses and managing the money you do have, as well as finding ways to make your money work for you, and various other money management principles. My main takeaway from reading this was that any money that comes into my pocket, I should keep a portion of it before spending it or paying any bills, and actively find ways to increase its value. This way, you're going to ensure that your wealth is always going up and snowballing as compound interest works its magic. Overall, this book is a great introduction to the value of a dollar and to help build the basic foundations of saving and accumulating wealth. And it's going to really help set you up to dive into some more advanced concepts in personal finance further on down the road. All right, our next book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So no personal finance reading list would be complete without including Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I think that's because the key message of this book does a killer job at providing a mindset perspective shift to show how wealthy people think versus middle or lower class individuals. So in the book, Kiyosaki uses the juxtaposition of his friend's father, who is a wealthy entrepreneur, against his own biological father, who is a well-educated employee but struggling financially. And by contrasting both of these father figures, Kiyosaki distills their mindsets and attitudes towards wealth and money. So on one hand, his poor dad believes in traditional education, job security, and living frugally, and he represents the mindset of working for money, while the rich dad focuses on financial education, risk-taking, and building assets. He advocates making money work for you, not working for money. The central theme of this book is that financial education is more critical than formal education when it comes to achieving financial success. So Kiyosaki argues that schools teach people how to be employees, not how to manage money, invest, or how to think like savvy business owners. You can also expect to learn about the difference between assets versus liabilities, assets being the things that put money in your pocket over time, such as stocks, real estate, and businesses, and so on, and liabilities being things that take money out of your pockets, things like car loans, over-leveraged personal mortgages, and credit card debt. Overall, I would highly recommend this book as a great primer for beginner investors on developing the mindset needed to build wealth, and also the motivation to build multiple streams of income. Our third book is The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. And The Simple Path to Wealth is one of my favorite personal finance books, which I actually listened to as an audiobook, and I'll pop that up here somewhere. The book itself does an awesome job of just laying out practical, no BS financial concepts in a straightforward and easy to understand manner. And essentially the book goes over achieving FU money, aka financial independence, by utilizing minimalism, frugality, and investing in low-cost index funds. Some of the key concepts in this book are going to be, as the title suggests, simplifying the accumulation of wealth by dollar cost averaging into low cost index funds, instead of trying to time the market or use complex strategies to outsmart the market in some way, which is usually not working. The author also stresses the importance of achieving financial independence so that you're not a slave to a job you hate. Maybe you have a boss that makes your life miserable. Think of how freeing it would feel to have enough money banked to say, go fuck yourself, without a care in the world, because you know that you can continue to pay your bills and take care of the family. So that's where FU money comes in. Expect to gain some base introductory knowledge on the stock market and index funds, how they work, and why the stock market will almost always go up, but not without some roller coaster rides along the way.
Just sit back and enjoy the ride.
If I could only recommend one single personal finance book, I think that this might be the one. It's definitely worth a read for beginners and also as a refresher for more seasoned investors, so go check it out. If I could just borrow a moment of your time for some shameless self-promotion, if you've enjoyed the video so far, please go subscribe to the channel so that you can support me on my quest to gain 1,000 subscribers and blow this algorithm out of the water. Now let's get back to the books. Okay, the next book is The Neatest Little Guide to Stock Market Investing by Jason Kelly. And that's right here. This is a comprehensive but beginner and intermediate friendly book on the introduction to the world of stock market investing. There's some really solid investment principles, actionable strategies, and practical tools to help make readers make more informed financial decisions. I really like this book for its reader-friendly intro to the stock market. It's less about financial planning and retirement and more about general logistics of the stock market and how to get started. So this book covers topics like the basics of stock market investing, such as what are stocks, why do they grow, and the role of dividends. And it also goes over the importance of long-term investing, building an investment philosophy, the power of compounding, diversification, how to identify valuable stocks, economic indicators, risk management, and so on. Now, I would recommend this book to beginner investors that are interested in learning more than just the basics and taking that next step. It's really just one of the easiest books I've read specifically on the stock market. So I think it's an ideal entry point for people looking to enhance their understanding of financial markets and how to invest in them. Our next book, Money, The True Story of a Made-Up Thing by Jacob Goldstein. Goldstein? I don't know. This book is really a deep dive into money, why it exists, and how it originated, as well as the psychology around money and how it's evolved over time. It's an extremely interesting read, which I believe supplements your mind on the mechanics of how money works in our society. Fun fact, did you know people used to use seashells for money? There's lots of interesting information in this book. And although it's not geared specifically at personal finance, I do believe it will only help to have that added money context that this book is going to provide. So some of the topics that are covered in this book are the evolution of money, money as a social construct, the gold standard and its limitations, the birth of modern banking, the role of inflation and deflation, the rise of cryptocurrency, speculation in bubbles, financial inequality, and the future of money. And I would say overall, I recommend this book to anyone from beginner to advanced that would like to understand the concept and history of money and how it works, which can only serve to provide you with a bigger picture perspective of economics and money. Now for our final book, we have Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt. So first published in 1946, this book provides a brief primer on economic theory in a distilled and simplified manner. Now, like the previous book, this is not a personal finance book, but more a breakdown on how to understand the mechanics of the economy that you live within and how that may influence the market you're investing in. And I really do believe it's important to study the economy rigorously. And this book is a great diving off point for that. Now, there are many schools of thought on economics, So be sure to diversify your studies so that you have a well-rounded perspective. So one of the lessons that sticks with me from this book is called the broken window fallacy, which is an argument provided for why economic policies must account for both seen and unseen consequences. The example given is that while repairing a broken window may create work for the glazer, it diverts money that could have otherwise been spent elsewhere, representing a net loss to the economy. So some of the topics covered in this book are opportunity costs, job creation, taxation, price controls, inflation, free trade, national debt, and various other topics regarding economic policy. This is probably the hardest read out of all the books here that I've recommended, but it's not a long read whatsoever, as you can see. As I think a sound understanding of economic principles is really important for everyone, I would recommend this book to the more ambitious folks out there who'd like to better comprehend the financial systems that are embedded within our society. So there you have it, 6 books that'll take you from financial newbie to wealth building pro. Which ones are you adding to your reading list? Drop it in the comment section below. And if you're already a finance book nerd like me, let me know which ones that you think I missed. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.